So I have to break it to you. Insomnia Cookies is not a franchise. They are not looking for franchisees. They've never been a franchise. So if you are a big fan of Insomnia Cookies and you want to get in the cookie business, on the good news, there are alternatives, and there's some great alternatives that you can open up for relatively low capital compared to some large food brands like McDonald's, for example, investing $2 million plus to open up a McDonald's. So before I jump into the 3 franchise alternatives for those looking to open up a cookie franchise, similar to Insomnia Cookies, a little bit about the chain. It was founded 19 years ago by Seth Berkowitz, a University of Pennsylvania student, when he began baking and delivering cookies late at night to students. The first store was established in Syracuse, New York, and it was open from 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. on weekdays and from noon to 3 a.m. on weekends. Krispy Kreme acquired the chain in 2018, but they still operate independently. And as of April 4th, 2021, Insomnia had 191 locations in 40 states nationwide. So they have a very online presence. 50% of their sales are from digital orders. It's a big industry, cookies. So $24.5 billion cookies and like desserts. And it's been pretty stable. The industry has shrunk a little bit between 2016 and 2021. The industry shrunk 2%. However, it's expected to return to growth over the coming 5 years. And it should be an annualized growth of like 0.6%. So modest growth. So there is a good amount of competition for an industry that is not growing so much and has fallen quite a bit over the last few years. And then Krispy Kreme, Insomnia have done pretty well financially. You can click on the link to dive in more information on that. And when Insomnia Cookies was acquired, it was bought for over $100 million. So cookie alternatives. First option is one of my favorite franchises right now, Crumbl Cookies. The investment's about $300,000 to open up a Crumbl Cookies. You should be making, based on historics, about $300,000 once you open and operate. Of course, that's not guaranteed. Vet that information with the franchisees. Talk to at least 10 franchisees. But it's a very compelling concept. And there was a Crumbl Cookies that recently sold around here for millions of dollars. I think the amount was like $5 million that it closed for, which is absurd for someone that opened up a bakery for, presumably $300K, maybe it was more, and growing that to over $1 million, I believe, in earnings, and then selling it for $5 million. That's wild. So the entry amount's about $350 to $700K to get in. It keeps going up. They opened, the founder, Sawyer, and his cousin opened up the first one in like an old Domino's pizza restaurant for very little capital. But as they protect their brand and build out their, it's more expensive to open. And the two owners, they just started it less than 5 years ago. But Sawyer and his cousin are making, the company makes $20 million a year. In 2021, they made $20 million, the franchisor. So the owners are doing pretty well. There's not much territory left, but I think there's like 8 or 9 states that there's still territory. And if you have the capital, you can always buy an existing Crumbl Cookies. Very strong financially. Another one, Mrs. Fields. The investment amount's lower, $250 to $415. They have about 130 locations in the United States. And franchisees don't do as well as for Crumbl Cookies. They're doing about 292,000. And they were hit hard because a lot of them are in malls and were not open throughout the 2021. So 2021 median sales, 264,000. We expect the payback to be on a Mrs. Fields based on those numbers, 9+ years. If it gets up to 300, 400K, it could be in 7-8 years, but not the same profile as Crumbl Cookies or an Insomnia, which unfortunately does not franchise. And then Mrs. Fields, the franchisor, is losing a lot of money. So they had comprehensive loss of $1 million in 2021, 2019, $5 million, and then $3.5 million in 2018. So they haven't done so hot, Mrs. Fields. They've been operating at a loss for the past few years, and their brand is dwindling from 172 locations end of 2018 down to 128 locations. So the system's dwindling. The next one Great American Cookies. They were recently bought by Fat Brands and consolidating with another cookie concept. They got 370 franchise locations, no company-owned locations. So they brought in Nestle Toll House. They're being rebranded, I believe, as Great American Cookies. It's going to set you back about 300, 400K to open up a Great American Cookies. Included in that's the franchise fee of $25,000. Median sales, 372,000. Somewhat similar profile as Mrs. Fields Cookie. It's going to take you some time to recoup that capital. So we estimate that it could take at least 6-7 years to recoup your capital, if not around the 10-year mark, depending on where the location is. It might be a better idea to buy an existing Great American Cookie or an existing Mrs. Fields, especially if you can get it at a decent rate. So Great American Cookies is good news. It's growing. Over the last few years, they've had a net growth of about 15 locations compared to a decline with Mrs. Fields and a crazy growth for Crumbl Cookies, where they've added hundreds of locations in a period of less than 5 years. So those are some cookie franchises. There's another one called Dirty Dough that came across our radar. There's a handful of cookie concepts as well as ice cream concepts that also sell cookies that you can explore. Just do your due diligence. We gave you the basic numbers on average unit volume, initial investment amount, potential payback period, but you've got to vet that information, talking to the franchisor and then talking to franchisees, and do work with an advisor, a CPA, a franchise attorney, to help you if you're looking to buy an existing franchise or open a new location in your neighborhood.